Hello, welcome into the PHNX Suns podcast. I'm Lindsay, that's Gerald, that's Flex, and that's Espo. And tomorrow, you guys, so many big things are happening tomorrow. It's officially official. The Phoenix Suns 2023-24 season starts tomorrow.
Let's go.
Are you guys so excited?
I'm very excited. I've been waiting for this moment, and now we finally get to actually evaluate the real team.
Longest preseason ever.
I know. I think the NBA really should look at shortening the preseason. This is just too much, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just too much. Also, our takeover, the very first one of the season, is happening tomorrow. Look at us planning things so well.
Boy, did we luck out. How about that?
We have, I believe when I checked earlier today, 3 tickets remaining for the takeover tomorrow against the Timberwolves. And your ticket includes a lower level ticket to the game, as well as pregame festivities at the Desmond prior to tip-off, which includes food and beverage, and plus you get to hang out with us and a whole bunch of other really amazing people. So if you want to grab one of those 3 final tickets that are left, make sure you do it fast over at gophnx.com. But I can't believe that it's here. It felt like it was never going to happen. The big 3 are reportedly all playing tomorrow. So we got this tweet from Dwayne Rankin earlier today. He said, sources, Devin Booker expected to return Wednesday against the Timberwolves after missing the last 5 games with a right calf strain. Bradley Beal is also expected to play Wednesday after tweaking his back Sunday against OKC. So, Phoenix Suns' big 3 set to make regular season debut on Wednesday.
Finally. I don't think I've anticipated something this long and then be so disappointed because it didn't happen. I take that back. Probably when I was younger. But anyway.
Oh, boy.
But finally, it's going to happen tomorrow. And then the real panic can start if they don't win.
Yeah, they're not going 72-0, guys. I just want to make that clear. They're not going to win every game. They're not going to play perfect.
What you mean?
They're going to miss shots. They're going to it's going to take time to get into a groove. So I'm happy they're back, but I still need a little bit more time to let this settle in. They're back.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And not to continue to rain on the parade either, but they will need time to adjust. Book will probably be on a minutes restriction. Beal will probably be on a minutes restriction, especially after he said that his back was bothering him after the last game. Yeah. It's going to take some time, but we are finally on the first step to getting everybody back and whole, seeing what guys will fill certain roles, and getting more of a working rotation going that's not being changed every other game. We don't know anything about Eric Gordon's shoulder because the team was supposed to practice yesterday, didn't wind up practicing. There was no practice availability today. Behind the scenes, they're probably doing stuff, but we won't hear any update on their status until probably the injury report. So it is going to take some time, but this is still a very exciting first step.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Bradley Beal isn't Bradley Beal yet.
Right.
Even him out there tomorrow isn't going to be that guy that everybody wants him to be. So I hate to preach patience because I was also the one screaming the other night about 2 for 21.
I think you were allowed to scream at that.
Yeah,
it's a whole nother.
It was certainly about the fourth quarter and not about the future for this team. But yeah, I think there's going to have to be a grace period. You hope that there's flashes like we saw in preseason right away of how that offense can look, and it's enough to settle things down in the fourth. But I don't think we're seeing peak big 3, peak Suns, at least for a couple weeks of them playing together.
You really think a couple weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these are 3 guys that have played what?
Right.
What was that?
Yeah,
6
but they're
preseason
3
games?
top of the top kind of players. I feel like if there are 3 guys who can kind of fast track the chemistry. I mean, we even saw it a little bit in preseason. Like,
that doesn't count.
I'm not saying
preseason doesn't count.
I'm not saying that they don't deserve time and that we shouldn't be lowered expectations that out of the gates they're not just going to be 100% well-oiled machine. However, I do think these three can probably put things together way quicker than you would see a team that doesn't have these three on it.
I would agree.
Because they're so skilled.
I would agree with that, honestly. I think it will take time for them to be firing on all cylinders, but I do think if we've watched this team the last couple of weeks, they've had what it takes to be 7-3, 8-2. They've just tripped and fallen on their faces in fourth quarters. I think obviously having Book back will help with that. I think being able to maybe bring Kevin Durant out of the game later in the third quarter because Book's going to play, most of that third quarter, and then bring him back to start the fourth can maybe help guard against some of the fourth quarter stuff. They tried that last game, but he only got like a minute and a half of a breather before he was back out there. So I do think they're not going to hit the ground running perfectly, I don't think, but I think they've got a good shot at stringing some wins together. Wednesday will be a tough one because the Timberwolves are good. Yeah. I think they started 1-2. They've won 6 straight. Yeah. They're the best defense in the NBA. They've got the weapons to throw at the Suns' big three, unlike a lot of teams because of their wings and whatnot. But outside of that, I do think they've got a shot to really start stringing some wins together.
Can I clarify? I meant to see them at peak. I think we got a week or two before we see them reach the level. I think they'll look very good, sooner rather than later. I just think we're not going to see everything we had hoped for right away. And you're right, Timberwolves, I don't like the matchup because of their size, purely because this team isn't built to go against size like that either. So
I'm just trying to guard against more overreaction
and unrealistic expectations.
It's just been the last 10 games have been overreaction after overreaction. I think it's just tough. They haven't been healthy, Linz. They're just not healthy. And if you're going to give them all the credit for being healthy, then you have to also play the other side of the fence when they're not healthy. So that's and I'm not saying specific to you. I'm talking about in general.
No, I get that.
You got Devin Booker. The Suns have been in every game this year. Okay, they faltered in the fourth, and you got it every game. Tell me one they haven't been in.
Didn't really feel like should have, but didn't feel like it. The second Spurs game.
Well,
stung
in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to play, it was a 1-point game. So you're in that game.
It didn't feel like it.
At the beginning, it didn't feel like it, but the end result. We could say that about other games.
That's fair.
So hold on.
I'll give you that.
So the Spurs' first game, did it feel like the Spurs were in it? We were up 20 in the third quarter with 6 minutes to play.
No, I wouldn't say it felt like the Spurs were in it.
Huh?
I wouldn't say that.
No, the Spurs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think they've been in every game that they've played this year. They could easily be 8-2. You're adding a guy that is, if you round numbers up, it's 32 points, 11 assists, and 8 rebounds per game. One of the best closers in basketball. One of the most efficient players in basketball. He's averaging 10.5 assists. Do you know who's leading the team in assists right now?
I think it's KD at like 4.5 or something like that.
4.6 is KD. And you know who's second?
Nurk
at 4.6.
Yeah.
Book doubles those guys by himself.
I thought we had all agreed on Point Nurk, though.
No, that's fine. Point Nurk is nice. Yeah. But not when he's the first guy. No, that's not a good look. So I think organically Book coming back is going to solve a lot of the fourth quarter stuff. I'm just trying to guard people from, hey, the big three's back. What happened? Why did we lose a game? Like that's not realistic.
And I do understand where you're coming from, and I agree with you because we do need to temper our expectations. However, I think that tomorrow, even if it's a tough matchup, even if the Suns lose, there should be moments within the game that will give us hope for what's to come. There should be things that we can point to and be like, just wait until that gets fully ironed out and is like a well-oiled machine. So that's the difference that I feel like that having the big three back kind of brings to Suns fans. At least for me, it does, is that I can see things that I know that as soon as they get fully ironed out are going to be so exciting and fun, where it felt like in a lot of these other games, it was hard to, not that they didn't exist, it was hard to hold on to them as something that was able to kind of relax you in the time being, if that makes sense.
And we've had, flashes of like, oh, I think that play there or that lineup there could be something when we're whole. we just haven't been able to sustain them and string them together into like actual wins because the fourth quarters have been so bad.
Right.
But to your point, there will be moments, especially if the big three is out there together, that we can point to and be like, yes, this is something that they can sustain and keep doing moving forward. And as good as the Timberwolves are too, I don't want to forget this, they will be on the second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Suns are able to capitalize on that, even with Booker and Beal likely on a minutes restriction.
I'm sorry. My only point too about the big three is this isn't really the big three yet.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Beal's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not right. So it's more like 2.5. And so until I see the actual big three, the Brad Beal we saw in the first half of the Laker game, if I see that, then I'll feel better. But until I see that, I just can't call it a big three yet. So I'm sitting back. I'm going to sit back and be calm about this because I kind of feel like there's an opportunity where things don't work out the way people think tomorrow, and it's going to be a shitstorm. And so,
if they get first half Bradley Beal that we've seen, and then they put that together with fourth quarter Book,
it's a win.
That's a big two that you could probably get wins with still, even if they're not 100.
Yeah, it's a win.
I'm going to say this, though. If I see another fourth quarter collapse, I don't care who the hell's out there. I'm going to lose my mind again. Because I'm sorry, what we've seen in a handful of these games is just unacceptable from a team with the kind of talent they have. But the other night, I kind of crapped on you a little bit. Because I was like, Devin Booker ain't a panacea. Like, it ain't going to fix everything magically, right? He's not going to change things. And then I did a little research. And do you realize in his career, the Suns without Devin Booker are 37-78? And you go, yeah, but there were some bad teams. Okay, in the last 3 years, they're 22-29 without Booker. And last season without him, they were 11-18. So sometimes there's just something about a specific guy that can change things for a team. And this team was built around Devin Booker. So I'm going to hold out the hope that he is, 80% of what they've been missing in these games. And the other 20% is just the usual, you got to clean things up at the beginning of the season with this many new guys. I'm going to hold out hope. I'm going to give it more than tomorrow night, but God, it better be the answer.
and that's the thing is I think it will take time for this group, even with the big three healthy, to figure things out, how they want to operate late in force. And we'll talk about the fourth quarter stuff in a little bit, but they have operated very differently when Booker's been out there compared to when it's just been KD and kind of a banged up Bradley Beal. KD has had to operate with the ball a lot more, and that leads to a lot of the heavy ISO stuff that we've seen. And I think with Book running the show because of his playmaking and his scoring ability, it opens things up for everybody else, and they're able to play in a way that we've been talking about wanting to see them do but haven't seen as much. So I think it will help. It's not going to fix everything, but I think it'll address just the style that they're resorting to.
So before we dive into fourth quarter woes for the Phoenix Suns, I do want to ask you guys, because just a heads up, tomorrow, because we are having our takeover, we will not have a pregame show ahead of the matchup. So just kind of what are your expectations for tomorrow's game, knowing we're going to have these guys out there, but it's the Timberwolves. It could be a little bit of a tough matchup.
I think you keep Book in the 20, maybe 25-minute range tops. I think Beal maybe 25 to 30-minute range. I think you might lose to a Timberwolves team that's very good, but again, they're on the second night of a back-to-back, so you're hoping to take advantage of that, get more guys in there, capitalize on their legs. I don't know. Outside of that, I just want everybody to get out of the game without a setback. That's been the biggest thing that we've had to deal with Book and Beal lately. So just get in and out of the game, get your big three some minutes together, get guys in their spots in the rotation that they're normally going to be in, and evaluate from there.
Yeah, listen, the Timberwolves are playing better than anybody in basketball right now. They got the best defense in the NBA. They're third in differential. They've got a lot of length with the two big guys, with Rudy and Towns. Anthony Edwards is playing, some of the best basketball in the entire league. That's a good basketball team. I talked about it the other day. I think they're going to be this year's Sacramento Kings. They're going to surprise some people. And so it's a really tough game. I kind of just want to see the Suns go out there, compete, have a chance, not completely collapse in the fourth and walk away from this game without any more injuries. And if that happens, I don't care about the result. I actually don't care about the win-loss thing. If those three things happen, I'm cool.
Moments of frustration, some brilliance that we'll see out there, and I think you're going to see Nurk in foul trouble in this game, and your only path to victory is going to be to try to speed it up, maybe even play smaller, and try to run Rudy Gobert off the court with some of your ability offensively, because I don't like the size matchup, the advantage that they have. I mean, especially without let's be honest, they don't have a true, power forward on this roster. You pointed KD, but KD isn't the bulk that you need sometimes to go against these bigger guys. So I'm thinking at some point you go small and try to run Gobert off the court and understand that Anthony Edwards is going to get his in a track meet, but you hope you got the horses to beat him at that point.
It'll be an interesting matchup for pick and roll for Nurkic for sure, because Gobert, the majority of his offense is right at the rim. I think he has the size and the strength to keep him out of that paint if he's not being exploited in the pick and roll. That'll be the key for him. I actually don't mind the matchup of KD on Cat. I think he takes a lot of jumpers, and that can help as long as KD's got the length to contest. But it is an interesting matchup because the Wolves are playing about as good as anybody right now.
In the chat, Darkness said Book will take Edwards' matchup personally. Just watch. Normally, I would agree with that.
I think they both take it personally.
I think that's my biggest worry.
I know.
Right.
I will say yes, he will, but hopefully the coaching staff will do a decent job of managing Book's load tomorrow to ease him back into things just a little bit. Just a little bit. Lessons learned, maybe.
Gotta protect him from
thinking?
himself.
I don't
Protect
know.
him from
I'm sorry.
himself.
If he's back, you're not slowing him. He has
No.
one mentality.
But
Is go out there and be a killer.
I get that. And I'm not saying while he's on the court. I'm saying as far as the minutes restriction that Gerald brought up, and hopefully they do stick to some sort of
I'm telling you right now, I bet anything right now, Book's blowing past that minute restriction tomorrow.
I know.
I'm telling
but
you,
I don't want it to
it's
happen.
never worked. I mean, can we go back in history and tell me a game Devin played where he was actually met or under the minute restriction, where he had a minute restriction?
I can. Christmas Day last year because he got
he got
injured
hurt.
before he could hit it.
But I'm
Like,
that's it.
Do you feel me, G? I mean,
it hasn't been since like 2018.
Right.
They've been able to keep him under the minutes.
And you can't tell me if they're again in a fourth quarter and it looks like they're going to blow it and he's already hit that minute, they're not going to keep him.
No.
They're not going to take him out of the game.
And Book is one of those guys that when he says he's ready to play, he's ready to play. That's how he operates. Like you said, one speed now.
Yeah, but we have lessons learned. Flex.
you would hope.
You get to do it twice, Book.
Yeah,
One time, shame on you.
This last
Next
one,
time, shame on me. Ain't no third time anymore.
Again, I'll say this again. This last one, if he re-aggravated his left ankle, I would agree with that. But this was an entirely different thing that I think had nothing to do with him saying, he didn't lie and say my ankle's good and then he re-hurt the ankle. It was a strain in the calf. Those things happen. He's just a little snake bitten right now, but I trust him to go out there and do what he got to do.
If this were him, I feel like rushing back, he would have played Friday.
He would have.
Like, I think we're keeping you out for as long as we think we really need to, and you can come back on this Wednesday game.
Yeah.
I feel like that he was probably ready himself Friday. And it was like, let's wait till
his
Wednesday.
ready is not necessarily medically cleared.
No, exactly.
We need to keep bearing that in mind.
And let's not bury this. We talked about this the day of the injury. We knew. I mean, are we going to deny that we said November 15th he's coming back? They already knew that. They gave him extra time. They allowed extra time in there. The day it happened, they said November 15th is the day. And that's that.
Don't talk to us.
And don't talk to us about anything before November. So
don't ask no questions.
He's already got like an extra 3, 4, 5 days of buffer room by making it the 15th, that mandate. And we've been ad nauseum saying this on this show. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that Devin Booker's playing them all, because we've been saying this since day one. November 15th is the day.
Yeah. All right. So we have a super chat from David. David, thank you for your super chat. They said, thank you to whoever brought up the 62-20 Suns going 0-7 without Nash. that really put stuff in perspective for me and calmed my rage.
Yeah.
Flex, was that you or was that Saul? Oh, that's what you did?
That was
My bad.
Espo.
I know it's surprising
That was a
I brought up
collaborative
something.
effort.
That's
actually,
not what it was.
That was a
Like,
collaborative
was it Eric?
effort,
Was
but
it
it was
Emma?
absolutely.
I don't know.
Was that you, Gerald?
Was that Shane?
I knew it wasn't Gerald because
Maybe
he
it was
wasn't on the
Keaton.
show.
Yeah, maybe. Leah, did you bring that up? Steve Nash's stat? You're Canadian, no?
Whoops.
No?
My bad.
Yeah, I see how it
Kudos,
is.
Espo. Kudos. Listen, I don't know what to tell you, but would it make you feel better if I offered you $200?
If it was coming
By
straight from
proxy
your
of
pocket,
Desert
yes.
Financial Credit Union,
There you
that
go.
is.
Sure.
For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest and most trusted local credit union. They are dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. And right now, when you open a free checking account online, you're going to get $200 in bonuses. To get started, just visit desertfinancial.com/200. You got to take advantage of all that goodness that they're trying to give you guys. Also, tomorrow's game is going to be on Arizona's Family Sports. All you need to watch the games is an antenna, and there are tons of options available for you. You can find them online. You can find them at local retailers. They've got indoor and outdoor varieties. So a lot of options and a lot of different price points for antennas as well. So wherever you live in Arizona, though, you can visit azfamily.com and click on Suns Games for listing information for your area. AZ Family is a great resource to help you find Phoenix Suns games on Arizona's Family Sports. All right, guys, let's talk about them fourth quarter woes. Hopefully, Devin will fix a good amount of them, or at least make them less atrocious. But Gerald, you wrote about this specifically over at gophnx.com, which if you guys want to take a deeper dive, you can check that out over there. But kind of give us the breakdown. I know you pulled some stats that did not look pretty.
I did. Let's take a look at those because they're awful. And they were bad before the last game, but shooting 2 for 21 in the fourth against the Thunder made it even worse. They're 30th in scoring, 30th in assists, 30th in turnovers. And I would like to point out they're averaging more turnovers than assists in the fourth quarter right now. 30th in field goal percentage, 29th in three-point percentage, so slight progress there. 30th in point differential, 30th in offensive rating, and they are 16th in defensive rating. They've been outscored by 61 points in 120 minutes in the fourth quarter. They have shot 7 for 44 on wide open threes, which is where the closest defender is 6 feet away. They're generating the 10th most wide open threes in the fourth per game, but they have the worst percentage in the NBA on those shots.
Gerald,
Nothing has gone right.
say something nice.
It'll get better with Book.
They're
know.
not 30th in three-point percentage. I mean, they're 29th.
Oh
Hey.
my gosh.
Can you put that back up, Eric?
Sheesh.
It's not great.
Listen.
That right there
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's not one stat in there that I am not confident won't get better when you add a guy like Devin Booker.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you laughing. I see you over there.
Yeah, but
I see
but
you.
can
Hold
they
on,
go
hold
up
on,
29
hold on.
slots?
Hold on. Another thing that's interesting. You just said it. I love that you said that. Wide open threes, right? They're not knocking them down. That's by design. That's by design.
Well,
The defenses
okay.
are saying, please, Josh Okogie, take a three.
I'm
Hey,
so glad you meant my
KDB.
defense.
Hey, KDB, go ahead. Please take a three. We don't want KD taking this. He the only one on the court can do anything. Y'all go ahead to Nurk, take that three. We leaving you. That's by design. When Devin Booker's in the game, that changes.
But does it?
Yes, it
Because
does. Yes,
don't
it does.
you still leave those guys
Gravity.
open?
No, gravity. You can right now they can key up on KD and literally leave 4 dudes and say, whichever one of y'all want to shoot, y'all shoot. You can't do that with Devin. Now with Devin, you're not gonna be able to play Kevin the same way. You're not gonna be able to play Devin the same way. And some of those shots now that are threes might end up pump fake dunks.
I think that's,
Because of the gravity. So I think basketball in a lot of ways is very simplistic. And I know we go into the analytical side of things and we go into this, just looking at stats. And I'm not talking about you, G. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, right.
People get too hyped up with this stuff. And I just think it's really simplistic. You add good players on the court and people play better. There is a such thing as great players making other players better. And Devin makes people better.
I would agree with that. But my big problem is what he talked about with the open threes.
Yeah.
Because Devin Booker isn't going to make them any more open than they currently are. Maybe in a different way, like you said, where they can drive to the hoop. But the hopes of this team are going to come down to if guys like Josh Okogie or KBD or Grayson Allen or Eric Gordon are those other guys out there on the court, they're going to have to knock down those open threes if you're going to want to be a championship team. And I understand that the law of averages says that likely will start happening. And this was everything went wrong all at once, but you're still going to need those guys to hit those open threes at some point.
Does it matter? Does score matter to y'all? And I'm asking y'all this question, like I'm being for real. Does score matter for in the fourth quarter if you're down 5 or 6? Mm-hmm. Do you think it changes the way Josh Okogie, KBD, Wanatabe take those shots in crunch time? Because there is a such thing as crunch time minutes.
Yes. Right.
Changes, right? Mm. So what if they're not down 5 now? Because Devin's actually playing 30 minutes, so they're up 5. Mm. That's a change shot. That's a change scenario. That guy does not have to make that 3 now. That guy can actually take his time, set it up, say, okay, do I want to take this 3? Do I want to take another dribble? Do I want to get it back to Book? Do I want to go from good to great? They're not, the things we talk about doing, they're not capable of doing right now. And I think these are the variables that get completely blown out and ignored when you're missing this type of talent. And I can't wait to see the fourth quarter tomorrow. It's gonna look night and day. And I truly believe if you just go back to the Golden State game and you go back to the San Antonio game, what would those fourth quarter numbers look like?
They're a lot better.
So, I mean, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, don't call it a damn dinosaur. It's a duck.
Yeah, but like, okay, but you want to talk about the first 3 quarters.
I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't care about the first. I'm talking about when Devin Booker's on the court, we see a certain type of basketball, and I'm expecting that to happen again because this is a 9th-year NBA pro that has showed us for enough time what he's capable of doing. And the idea that it's gonna just all of a sudden change because of 4 games that we play bad in the fourth quarter, like I don't buy that.
But let me throw this at you. Last year we had KD from February and played 10 games, played in the playoffs. Josh Okogie still missed those shots. It still hurt them in the playoffs when he was wide open and he missed those shots. Devin didn't change that, and that's my concern is Devin is not going to.
But this isn't last year's team.
No, it isn't.
That's the thing that I think is important is that the difference with the wide open shots now is that guys like Grayson Allen or Eric Gordon, when they're on the court and they're missing those shots, they're kind of like, especially until Bill came back, were like the second or third option. I think it's easier to knock down those looks when you're being disrespected as like, that's the 4th or the 5th guy. Right now, the 4th or the 5th guy is like Okogie or KBD. And one of those guys will still need to be out there, I think. And Okogie we talked to him after the game, and he was talking about like, I've just got to knock him down, but I've also got to leverage some of my cutting and other things that I do instead of relying on just, you know, standing in the corner and shooting those shots because they're obviously not falling. So I think he's cognizant that he needs to find better ways to attack. But I do think there's a difference when, you know, KBD is your 5th guy as opposed to
7 or 8.
3rd or 4th guy.
I got you.
Like that's on the lineup. And I think Book coming back helps with a lot of that because KD has had the ball in his hands and the offense has kind of gone stagnant. This was a big part of the piece that I wrote about is the Suns value what he can do as a walking ISO bucket, but it wears on you. Like KD is top 5 in the league in minutes per game. I think he still might have the highest usage percentage of his career right now, which at age 35 is not ideal when he's playing 36, 37 minutes a game. And it kind of, I was kind of surprised at some of the guys being so upfront about feeling like they came out and said, like, we feel like we're deferring to KD and Brad a little too much. Nurk said something to the effect of like, our offense is too good to devolve into ISOs. So it's one of those things where it's like a chicken or egg situation. Like, do you need to move the ball so that role players will hit shots, or do role players need to hit shots so KD will feel comfortable moving the ball.
Great point.
It's one of those things that I think when Book comes back, that balance is alleviated a little bit.
Yeah.
So hopefully that kind of empowers guys to make those plays that it looks like they've kind of froze up in some of those situations.
I think one point that maybe I'm overlooking that you bring up too is an EG, a Grayson Allen, even a KBD to some certain extent will probably be playing fewer minutes in the game too.
Mm-hmm.
So where they may not be, especially in EG's case, where you may not be able to play 30 hard. If you're out there for 20 or 25, but you're closing the game, maybe you're a little fresher to make those shots too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's certainly one thing I'm overlooking, but still going to have to make those shots at some point.
You do. You absolutely have to make those shots. I will say when you have a fully powered Beal and Booker out there, that's two guys that now everybody is bumped down to in the pecking order.
Yeah.
And suddenly some of these open threes that guys are missing, slightly better three-point shooters are hopefully taking those shots.
You know what's the play? The Golden State play where Booker made the play to Nurkic to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that play. I went back and looked at that play, and I wonder if we were in that same spot with the current team, how does that play look? How does that play look? Take Book off that game and put KD in that spot.
They had already blown it earlier.
Game's over. No, game's over. But if you look at that still shot of that play, the gravity, the spacing, the guys being where they need to be, it's an entirely different ball game when you add that guy on the court. And on top of that, you're adding a little bit of Beal. So I think it's gonna help tremendously.
And I do I don't want to boil it down just to these numbers because obviously the Suns have been blowing fourth quarters without Book and that's going to affect this. But they're a +7 in 19 fourth quarter minutes with Book. They're a -68 in 101 minutes without him. It's not that simple, but in some ways,
sometimes it is.
The numbers are going to revert back to the mean. I think here soon. You hope.
All right, gentlemen. Because Flex is our resident sports gambling aficionado.
I believe you refer to it as a degenerate.
I was trying to be polite about it.
Oh, man.
But the thing is, he does hit on a lot of his bets. We have...
That doesn't change it.
I mean, it's better if you're winning than losing.
I mean, true.
Doesn't it?
Very true.
I feel like it does change it a little bit. We have tasked Flex with bringing us our DraftKings pick of the week. So are you ready, Flex?
Yes.
Okay, what you got for us?
So I have a 9-leg parlay around the league tonight.
Oh my God. Did you say 9 leg?
9 leg.
Let's go.
9 leg. This is what we do. Okay? These are pretty easy. Punch them in. Come talk to me tomorrow. Joel Embiid, 8 rebounds.
Okay.
Tyrese Maxey, 20 points.
Okay.
Tyrese Halliburton, 8 assists. Tyrese Halliburton, 15 points. That's the first 4.
Okay.
Then we're going to go Luka to get 6 assists and 25 points.
Oh,
okay.
That makes me feel dirty.
And then we're going to close this out with Joker getting 8 rebounds, Joker getting 25 points, and Kawhi Leonard to score 15.
Okay.
Those 9, put them in, lock them in, put a little bread on there. Thank me tomorrow.
What do I get odds was? What do I plus at?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know
this
that?
was the first time. My bad. I'll have it better for y'all next time.
I think Halliburton.
Just do it, Espo. Quit asking questions.
Just do what I said. Just do what I said.
I just want to know how much money I'm gonna make.
You're in the minus.
Yeah,
You don't get to ask these questions.
Look,
Just
guys.
get in line
All
and
right,
listen.
so I'll
win
give
is
you
a
an
win is a
I'll give
win.
you an idea. I'll give you an idea. If you put $100 on this bet, you'll win about $350. So
Okay.
So
It's not too shabby.
a little bit under plus $350.
Not too
the
shabby.
one thing I'm worried about, the Halliburton assists. That's the only thing in that 9 I went.
Really?
Okay.
Halliburton?
I think he's averaging a lot. He's averaging a lot.
I
He's
get it.
averaging a lot.
It's the one that I went.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Well, if you guys want to get in on the actions, DraftKings has your back all season long. Right now, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PHNX. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. So there you go. Take that $5, put it on Flex's 9-leg parlay, and you're going to make money off of that. And in addition to that, after you bet those $5, you're going to get that $150 instant bonus bets from DraftKings. Now, this is only on DraftKings Sportsbook. And again, with that code, PHNX, the crown is yours. Okay, here we go. I'm feeling a little today, so I don't know if I'm going to do it, but here we
This
go.
could be your best one.
Okay.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resorts KS, licensee partner, Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, LA, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. I mean, that's
That was
not too
good.
bad.
Get
that was
stuffed,
good.
Ontario.
You know what's terrible?
Get stuffed.
You guys,
Talk to
Telling
me.
Ontario
I'm not trying to
get
throw
stuff.
shade right now.
Go ahead.
So my eye has been twitching on and off for like a month and a half, right? We've talked about this
We
off
have.
the show.
Mhm.
It twitches every time I read
It's your
that.
nerves.
Stress.
Every single time I read that, my eyes is like, ugh.
We really need to record that and
It's terrible.
play the sped up version
I feel like
again.
what's his
You
face
did
from
good.
Daria, the teacher whose eyes is like over here freaking out.
Can we show Brian's comment on Flex? Go here. It's up a little bit further here. He says if it no, one more up. God, this is just great for the audio. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, flaps like a duck, then it's a degenerate gambler. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh my goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
okay.
Also, you guys can join Circle K's Inner Circle. It's a new free membership program, and you get lots of perks for it. First and foremost, you save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Then you save 3 cents per gallon every single day. You also get every 6 free on a selection of Circle K products like pizza, coffee, and ice cold fountain drinks. So join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. All right, so many people in the chat are like, Zach Lavine, Alex Caruso, Torrey Craig.
Oh, boy.
Who we getting, you guys? Because we got notification from Shams Charania that this is developing, right? NBA teams are probing the availability of Bulls 2-time All-Star Zach Lavine, and there is increased openness from both sides about exploring a trade, sources say. So, first and foremost, who's getting Zach Lavine? Because that's the first domino in this piece that kind of has to go. Who are you guys more so concerned about if they do end up bringing him in? Could potentially, especially in the West.
So for me, and I don't know that it'll happen, and I'm sure these two will tell me why it won't. But Golden State, when I look at it, they have Chris Paul's contract. I think that would be – they're going to, I think, try to move him if they can find something that will help them in their pursuit. I kind of wonder if they might kick the tires, probably because he has a longer-term contract, they won't. But that's who would scare me. But who's making this move is 1,000% the New York Knicks, because there's not a more New York Knicks move than to go get a guy that they think could be a superstar that turns out not to be a superstar. And I feel like that is what would happen here. So.
I mean,
Yeah, I the 3 teams in the East, I 100% agree with. I think Philly, the Heat, and the Knicks will be very aggressive for a guy like Zach Lavine. The ones in the West on this graphic, the only team I think realistically would be interested and has a chance is Memphis. And I think the dark horse here is the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans are a team that they're trying to do a lot of things. They've been trying to do a lot of things for a very long time. And that might be the perfect fit for both teams. I pay close attention to the Pelicans in the Zach Lavine thing.
Would you consider Zion for Zach Lavine?
Yep. I would. This is just personally. I'm not talking about I'm just talking about the situation. I think Zion and the Pelicans are well overdue for a divorce, and I think it's going to happen. And sometimes you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get to trade a contract like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes these happen, and then when they go away, it could be a whole year before you find something that makes sense. This is in the ballpark, so I think you entertain it and you think about it.
Yeah, the Pelicans would be an interesting one for me. With Memphis, they make sense on paper, but I don't know what they're giving up because looking at their contract situation, it would have to be a combination of guys like Luke Kennard, Steven Adams. Like I don't know why the Bulls would make that move unless they just really want to get off. And I guess picks would be the main attraction there. The Warriors are interesting because they do have a lot of salaries that you could match things up with. And like Klay Thompson is a free agent. They weren't able to come to a contract extension with him. I think that they will eventually, but they're an interesting one because of the Chris Paul factor as well.
And he could be Klay insurance, like you're saying.
Yeah, I think the Lakers make the most sense in terms of trying to upgrade their roster.
The Lakers are limited till about the 15th of December, right?
They did re-sign a lot of guys, so it'll have to wait for a while, but
you trade Austin Reeves in a Zach Lavine deal?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's been good, but not like
I feel like that's keep what Austin the Bulls Reeves. Would want, right? That would be at least a piece that they'd want.
The Knicks are an interesting one.
They are.
Because I've been from out there, I have a lot of connections with the Knicks and the Nets, and RJ Barrett has been a guy that's been talked about for a very long time. And they just gave him that contract. And this feels like, I think Chicago would entertain that. I think they say, okay, that's a nice young piece on the contract, less money than Zach. And they can kind of make it work it out. And then you're looking at a Zach Lavine and Brunson.
The Knicks are going to always nick.
And it's a Knicks move, but I don't think this makes them much better. But I think
that's why they'll do it.
They can't keep waiting around. Minnesota's not for Zach. But I'm telling y'all, Minnesota's got something cooking. I think Minnesota's going to be that team at the deadline. It's going to add a piece, and we're going to be like, oh, boy, you see that coming. But that's why I'm a little worried about Minnesota. I've been hearing a lot of things about them, and I don't know if this could be a three-way thing, but I know the Knicks are fascinated with Karl Towns. And so can you find a way for the Knicks, the Bulls, and the Timberwolves to talk about this? And, Lavine go here, Towns go there, and you get RJ and some other pieces. It's possible. So I just keep that in mind. 3-teamer between the Knicks, Bulls, and T-Wolves. Potential.
All right. So if the shoe does drop and Zach Lavine gets moved, this could open the door for the Bulls to just completely blow it up. And start fresh, which means you'd have a couple of other guys that maybe, I don't know, you guys tell me, would you be interested in if you were James Jones and the front office and the Phoenix Suns? We're talking about Caruso, Vooch, DeRozan, any of these guys sparking interest?
Yeah, give me Elmer Fudd every day. I'll stop calling him that if he's
You better.
I mean, Caruso is obviously the guy you look at, has a relationship with Vogel, won a title with him, is a defensive-minded guy, could come in and be fantastic on that. I don't think they have the parts to make that deal.
Nope.
They don't have the picks. The young talent that they do have. Are the Bulls really salivating over Nasir Little? Like, is that really 4 years of him for Alex Caruso? No, I don't think that's that's who I'd want. I don't think it's realistic.
Who'd you rather have, Caruso or Grayson Allen?
Caruso, because if Eric Gordon's
Didn't we literally just all buy in entirely on? We bought all the Grayson Allen stock.
Yeah, but he's not signed next year. If I can turn it into,
and that would intrigue the Bulls because they're trying. If they gut this, they're gonna gut it. If they gut it, salary cap space is what they're gonna look for. And so, if you can move Caruso, who's on a contract for Grayson,
I honestly don't know if I can answer that question yet.
Okay,
because I feel like Caruso has shot the ball well this year. He's at 44%. It's only on 2.8 attempts, so it's been a limited number of attempts and a limited number of games. I think you're definitely downgrading a little bit in terms of shooting gravity and ability going from Grayson to Caruso. Obviously, you're getting a bump defensively which would help. And hopefully, he's not a great playmaker. He can do enough, but I don't know if that's a step up enough from Josh Okogie, Jordan Goodwin coming off the bench and filling that same kind of defense role. Yeah. I think he's a better player than both of those guys, but I just don't know. Again, like you said, I don't think the Suns have the assets to make that happen because it's basically they would have to package Nas Little and another minimum contract guy with second round picks. And I'm pretty sure the Bulls last year, they didn't get it, but they were holding out for 2 first-round picks. So I feel like you'd have to have at least one to make it happen.
The reason I'd consider Grayson, if the Bulls would ever do it, and I doubt they would, is Eric Gordon and him can serve a very similar role on this team, where Caruso, I think, is an upgrade over either an Okogie or a Jordan Goodwin when you get to the playoffs.
That's fair, but I do worry a little bit about EG's age and the shooting we've seen from him so far.
I think
It's been a lot worse than we've been hoping for, and it'll probably pick up once they get everybody back, like we've been talking about. But
I think honestly, if I had a way to look into the future and I was able to see this big 3 for 15 games or 20 games, and you see them rocking and rolling like we think they could, I'd absolutely make this move. I'd absolutely make the move. If I knew that the big 3 offensively, Beal's healthy, Book's back, right, and they're clicking, I'd absolutely make this move, because guys like Caruso don't grow off trees. Like that type of defensive tenacity. I mean, that guy was toe-to-toe with Kevin Durant that entire game.
They don't grow on trees, but they know how to get that wascally wabbit. So.
Come on. Why are we not talking about the bigger news here? Is that Torrey Craig is probably going to be available for the 3rd straight trade.
I led with that, Gerald. What do you mean? Why are we
TC, come on back,
it?
baby.
Nasir Little for...
I wanted that to be my show tweet today, and Gerald was like, no one will get it.
I don't think anyone would have gotten it, but except for me. But I wouldn't even know what to ask him the first time we would talk to him. If he came back here like, hey, we're going to see you here again this time next year. Like,
does
what
James
are we doing?
just walk up and go, I can't quit you?
I mean, just get to do the lifetime contract and just call it a day. You're like, you here, bro. You're going to be here. That's it.
Yeah,
We're going to put him in the Ring of Honor for the most Suns trades for this guy ever.
He would surpass Cedric Ceballos, who was a 2-time getting traded here.
Bro, if Torrey Craig comes back, like he
so
has
funny.
every right to throw a chair. Every right.
I just hope he kept
No matter
right?
if he's excited or not, I would throw a chair if I'm Torrey Craig. Like, bro, give me a break.
Hey, Torrey, my name is Gerald Bourguet. Like, bro, I know you, Gerald. Imagine.
He's probably sick of my ass by now. God bless.
Can I just play Agent of Chaos?
Sure.
Because the chat has already gone down all sorts of weird rabbit holes with this. Say Bradley Beal really likes Chicago.
Come on. All right.
Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan. Which one are you going for?
Too far.
I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Totally just kidding.
That was a lot.
Javon Carter keeps coming up.
I love Jason.
I love Javon.
Shooting 50% from 3 this year, 42% last year.
I love
Does
Jason.
he solve your distributor?
Not at all.
Problem?
Not at all.
I mean, I
might make it
remember
worse.
him as not really being good at that. So now you've just got Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon, and then Jordan Goodwin, and then
who you
Josh
might
Okogie.
trade for him.
Yeah, like I'm like,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Javon, but I'll pass. All right.
We have a couple of super chats. Psycho Blue sent us one. Thank you, Psycho Blue. Said, other than reuniting him with Vogel, I want the Suns to get Caruso to keep him from going to another contender.
Well, my biggest fear is the Bucks. If the Bucks get him. I mean, granted, we still gotta, solve our 4th quarter issues, figure out how to get through the West and wind up playing the Bucks. But I don't like the Bucks getting Caruso at all.
Yeah.
Eddie sent us one and said, how bad does Okogie have to play to be out of the rotation? We have some decent guys like KBD, Yuta, Metu. Go Suns.
Look, I think with Okogie, we've lost the thread a little bit because, yes, I think he's 0 for his last 12 from 3-point range, dating back to the first couple games of the season.
1 for 18, right?
Yeah, he hasn't been good this season. He's shooting a terrible percentage. I'm not denying any of that. But we've been talking up here ad nauseum with Nurk, with Grayson, with Eric Gordon about how the big 3 being healthy impacts their game. Josh Okogie needs to play with the big 3 if he's going to be effective. I don't know. He can come in spurts and be effective as an offensive rebounder, as a defense first guy. He does provide energy in that way. But the whole reason that I've been pushing for him as a starter, as the 5th starter, is because of his fit with that particular group, because of the point of attack defense that he brings, because of the second chance opportunities that he brings when you got those other guys shooting.
Offensive glass.
Those abilities shine a lot more with the big 3. I honestly don't know what his bench fit would be because it hasn't looked good over the last couple of games. I think playing with the big three really hides a lot of his flaws as a three-point shooter, and it allows his cutting, offensive rebounding, stuff like that to shine.
Yeah.
So I think with him, as much as it's been awful the last couple of games, we need to give him a little bit of time to maybe play with the starters and see how that looks. And that's something Frank Vogel's talked a lot about, is trying different lineups. And even if you like who that fifth guy is, trying other lineups to figure out, okay, what works, what doesn't work. And I think that's what we'll see.
Yeah. Can we agree, though, offensively, Josh Okogie is what he is? He's always going to be a streaky shooter. He's always going to be that guy that you're never quite comfortable with taking that big three. But he also, to your point, could start and play that good defense and help you in those situations. But he's not the guy you probably want in the final, 4 or 5 minutes in that fourth. So because, like you were saying, even with the gravity and you're gonna cheat off somebody, and in that case, it'd be a Okogie. So
you're gonna see a ton of gimmicky defenses like box and one type shit.
Yeah.
And we've seen it against KD down the stretch. Like they're basically playing to try and take away passing lanes.
You know what? Like this is a miss and make league, right? And it's a 3-point league now. Like you could look at damn near any game, 9 out of 10 on any given night. Just look at the 3-point box. Whoever shot the three better won the game, typically, right? So it's a 3-point league, and it hyper analyzes the 3-point shot, right? And so what I mean by that is Josh is doing some really damn good things on the basketball court. The only thing he's not doing good is shooting the 3-ball. And somehow, some way, the verdict is Josh can't play because he can't make a 3. And I don't like that. Right. I don't like that. There's more to basketball than shooting a 3. Yes, in this stretch, one for like the last 18, that's not good. But ideally, he's not going to be asked to do that much when the big three's there. But what he brings on point of attack defense, giving you second chance opportunities on the glass, just energy, getting on the ground, all that stuff is part of basketball. And that trumps the 3-point shooting. So I think Josh should be in the lineup. He should play. He's probably our best defender. I mean, we got to get somebody to get stops.
I mean, listen, he had 8 points the other night on 2 shots.
Yeah,
if my math is correct, that's pretty good, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I still think he's a guy you selectively use.
I'm seriously like,
No, but it is pretty good math.
4 points a shot. I mean, I ain't never seen that.
The math is mathing on that one.
Getting to that free throw line, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, he made as many shots as the Suns did in the fourth quarter, so good on him, man.
Eric in the chat said, speaking of trees, OG's got you covered. That they do, Eric. And right now, if you use that promo code PHNX, you're going to save 25% off any OG's product at your neighborhood ZenLeaf location from now until November 30th when you place an online order and use that code PHNX. So all you have to do is head to ZenLeafDispensaries.com, find your closest location, order your favorite OG's gummies for pickup, and enter discount code PHNX to get 25% off at checkout. Now, this deal is exclusively for all of you guys for being such amazing listeners and contributors for our show. And a reminder, it is available only for online and pickup orders as well. And that discounted code, one more time, sheesh, PHNX, and it's available only until November 30th.
Sheesh.
It's getting real rough there towards the end.
Sheesh.
Also, if you are looking to go to games or concerts anytime in the near future, our friends over at Game Time are a great place for you to have a wonderful buying experience from when it comes to getting tickets. I love them because you can get really good last minute deals. If you are a procrastinator or if you're super spontaneous, Game Time is the app that is for you. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Today, if you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code PHNX, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Okay, you guys, we're going to round out the show with a little bit of trauma. So Eric brought this to our attention. It's actually a really fun idea, though. So this tweet popped up, and it was Thibodeau says, T-Max 13 points in 33 seconds is why he plays Nick Stars up big. Quote, people will tell you, he needs to get the starters out of there. Yeah? Well, I know what experience tells me. Then Randall comes in and says he's got a lot of trauma, man. He's got to work on that. So the question is that Eric has proposed, what Suns moments still give you trauma?
I think about 1,000 episodes of this show is where I'd start.
Damn.
Yesterday. We were off Sunday.
Hell, there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Robert Horry, I know he came on the show, is super nice. That does not make any of the moments with Robert Horry and this franchise any less traumatic. But for me, I think it has to be John Paxson's 3. Mm-hmm. Because I'm 9 at the time, and it's my introduction to life can suck. All right? Sometimes life just sucks. And John Paxson taught me that in spades. All right? So, because you just think everything's going our way. We're going to win 6, 7's at home. Look at this. We got Charles Barkley. My life, it's my first real year being a fan, and I'm like, oh, that's pain. Okay.
It's not all magical and wins.
No. I started therapy that day. So
that's a 9-year-old.
That's trauma for it. I was super, chill, not anxious, not bitter until 9 when that happened. And now I'm all those things. So thank you, John Paxson.
Yeah, he grew up at age 9.
You know what's crazy is I think I told you this. Like, I think my first real introduction to depression was because of the Suns. No, I'm saying we talking trauma. I'm keeping it real. I'm like 13.
Oh shit!
And we just won a game with the best team in basketball, and this is before the internet and instant information and cell phones. And I just stopped at the corner and got me a slice of pizza with a grape soda, and I'm walking home. And I'm walking the house. I'm painting y'all the real picture. I'm walking home, and I open the door, and I see my brother-in-law Eric, and he looks at me. He's like, "Did you hear what happened?" I'm like, nah, bro, I just got me this pepperoni and grape soda. What's good? He said, Danny Manning tore his ACL in practice. Mm-hmm. I said, man, stop. Eric, I will punch you in the head if you keep making these lies up. And then he clicked it on and SportsCenter, da-na-na, breaking news. And then you know what was under that breaking news? Danny Manning tears ACL, but Suns are activating Richard Dumas.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And every never mind.
Oh, God.
Every dealer in Phoenix.
So, that was it. That was it. I really went into a little dark hole for 2 weeks. And the All-Star game was in Phoenix, by the way.
Get Danny Manning's Joe Klein.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. That was pretty,
No, I got 3 for you.
Damn, 3?
I got 3.
Okay.
The 2010 Ron Artest put back in the Western Conference Finals. I think if the Suns win that game, they win the series, possibly win it all.
Yeah.
And I could not stand that guy back then because obviously I was planning on going to ASU. It was in high school at the time, but I was planning on going to ASU. I was in college at the time. And like the elbow that he threw James Harden, I hated that guy for that. So for him to be the one to do it, I was like, that's the worst ending possible. 4th of July, when Steve Nash went to the Lakers, I was at a family party with my girlfriend at the time. And I I brought my laptop with me just in case. And I sat on the other side of the party the whole time writing about it. And we broke up because of that. What?
So
Not even joking. Not even joking. Yeah, it was my fault. And then Game 7, of the Mavs series. I have never in my life seen a sporting event like that with the air just sucked out of the building by halftime against the player that they could have picked number 1 overall in the greatest Suns season of all time. With legitimate title aspirations against a team that they were handling.
Feel bad about this.
That is the worst sports. I would argue that's still the worst thing that's ever happened to this franchise. Like that was the year, and they just I've never seen anything like that. And I think still to this day, Suns fans, because of that game, because of Game 6 last year, Suns fans, when runs start going the other team's way, there's that same panicked energy in the building. That is like hard to overcome. I feel like it still lingers in the building. It's insane.
I mean, that was brutal. that was
never seen anything like it.
not an enjoyable time.
Can I give one other adult one?
Mm-hmm.
I was at game 2 of the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. They go up 2-0, mm-hmm. and as that game ends, everybody starts chanting Suns in 4. Mm-hmm. And to this day, it makes me so unbelievably angry because if any city should not be doing that shit, it's Phoenix, all right?
Yeah.
But I feel like, listen, that just turned into kind of like a battle cry for that year.
No, that was a dumbass battle
cry. But it was what it was.
You can do that after you've won game 4 when you're winning game 4. And other than that, you just need to keep your mouth shut until the game is won.
One last, can I say one last?
Yeah, go for
15 seconds.
Okay.
PJ Tucker, Devin Booker, game 4, NBA Finals. Devin dribbles the ball off of PJ's foot. He looks right at Monty, says, "Review that, bro. That didn't even touch me." Monty goes, "Nah, we good, Devin." And the Suns end up blowing what was a 7-point lead at the time in the 4th. Right after that happened. And if he reviews that, we keep the ball. Maybe Book hits a 3. We go up double digits, and we're up 3-1 coming back home. But yeah, who knows? Whatever. Yeah.
Can I end this on a positive, though?
Yeah, you can try.
Hold on. How do you have positive trauma? Is that even possible?
I don't know. I got to break out of the transformation center. So, yeah, that's positive. I was in there for a whole dang year. So, yeah, that's positive.
And you transformed into this. What a deal.
Damn.
Pumpkin, princess. I don't know. You tell me. But I can end this on a positive because while we were doing the show, I've gotten 2 nuggets of really good news. First and foremost, Groundhog Mama just got the last 3 tickets for tomorrow's takeover.
Let's go.
They can't take Cogs out of the Footprint Center, LOL. And that means that we are sold out for our individual tickets. We do still have 3 season passes available. So the season passes get you a ticket to all of the takeovers for the season, and you get a major discount on that if you're a diehard as well. So if you still want to get that, that is available. But in addition to that, you guys, we hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube today.
20,000 people find us passable enough to watch.
Yes,
all right.
We did it.
That's a huge W, mostly because that means you guys are just like the best and absolutely supporting everything that we do. And it truly means the world because we quite literally wouldn't be here without you. So thank you and shout out to all of you guys who have been along with us on the journey and will continue to hang with us throughout it all. It's been pretty fun. And what a great day to celebrate 2 dubs when we know the big 3 is coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Love it.
Who'd have thought? 2 weeks ago? Not me. Just kidding. All right, that'll do it for us today. We appreciate you guys. As a reminder, I know I mentioned it earlier in the show, we're not going to have a pregame tomorrow because we will be doing the takeover, but we will have a post-game show for you. Don't worry about that. We will be live right after the Suns and the Timberwolves wrap up their game, so plan to come hang out with us for that show. And until then, you can give the show a follow on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Flex at Flex from Jersey. And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Remember, winners work. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.